What's up, everybody? It's Jason, Zombie Collector. Just hanging out here on this New Year's Eve. And thought I'd go live and hang out for a little bit. I had some downtime, chill out with some people that might pop in. It's 9:18 in the PM Eastern Standard Time. Thought about talking about the going-ons of the world. Nothing going on with the Cincinnati Reds. Holla, 1869, baby. So I got me some I got some Tops update brought to you by my kiddo Squiddo. He bought some baseball cards. I got some this whole stack of eBay winnings. I've been lighting up eBay.
Every person on this earth has breast.
So I was like, hey, doing all right. I was in the Christmas spirit this last couple of weeks. I've been buying a bunch of stuff on eBay. The good news is also that the post office is finally moving along packages. It's only have taken them over 3 weeks to get packages from point A to point B. I have never seen anything like that. Never, ever, never. Quite surprising at all the issues that the post office has been having. There's all kinds of excuses and reasons or whatever, but at the end of the day, I feel like there's really no excuse, quite frankly. But I'm just glad that they're finally up and running. Like, I got on today half-heartedly, and it was starting to say, like, oh, it's arrived at this location, arrived here, went to this distribution center, en route to so-and-so place. I'm like, finally, it's, moving along. I'm like, I don't know how many people I would have blown up my eBay message thing. Hey, what up, Joe? What up, Yosef? Doctor exclusive. He's exclusively a doctor. What up, my brother? Man, so I'm glad about the mail. How's the mail in Canada, Doctor Exclusive? Is the mail in Canada moving along quite nicely, or has it been held up for weeks on end? Because here in America, we've been having a USPS shortage that the world has never seen. Oh, it is. Literally, it's been a nightmare. And if you're like on eBay, it sucks because people are losing their minds. They, like, what can you do? There's nothing. I mean, I sent it off in the mail. I gave them a tracking number. I mean, it's out of my hands. I do not currently or have ever worked for the United States Postal Service. It's weird. I don't get it. I mean, it's not like Christmas snuck up on us. I mean, every year it's always on the calendar unless something's changed and I'm unaware. Hey, what up, Wyatt? Thank you for being my 500th subscriber. That was mighty kind of you. I'll send you a stack of chicken strips and breadsticks from Pizza King. What up, Reese? What up, my son? Now my son and his buddies are all going to be like, harassing me and everything. So, what up, Reese? What up, Joe, Wyatt, and my son, Luca, a.k.a. Shoko? Yeah, so I was happy about the post office finally moving along. That was good news because, like I said, people were losing their minds. And I was losing my mind in turn because people just kept complaining like I had something to do with it. Yeah. Who's Abby West?
I don't know.
Hey, I sent something to Shannon, actually, Back to the cardboard.
Nathan is having Abby.
Okay, what's up, Nathan? I figured there was no girls are going to be on my live stream, I'm sure. So, yeah, I said something to like I said, Shannon, and I'm sure he hasn't received. I said it like 2 weeks ago. There's no problem, dude. Yeah, dude, you gotta watch out for that twisted T. That's the KO, baby. Oh, how Yin's doing, Don? Yeah, that's right. Yin's got to be leaving, man. This is kind of a cool thing here. I talked to Billy Bob Lewis or in the community, Bob Lewis, and him and I were talking, and it looks like we have a semblance of a schedule set up for next March. So I'm thinking in March, I'm going to be going to his house for about a week, I guess. I always say 4 or 5 days. Like, I think I'm going to leave on a Wednesday, and then I'm going to stay through the Monday. So, 4 or 5 days. That's kind of like our loosey-goosey conversation we had today that we're looking to do. So we will see. Yeah, most of those 500s, my son and all his friends. So I appreciate all of them. I'll be sending them all $5 Monopoly money over the next few weeks saying thank you. Hey, what up, Matt Fox? I know, dude. Well, Matt, Bob, he's not with child, but his wife is. And I don't think he's going to be heading anywhere for the next, decade or so. But yeah, I would like to go south. I honestly thought about going south because I want to go to watch AEW wrestling. And I'm assuming unless things change dramatically, they're going to continue to have matches in Jacksonville. That's where they have matches currently. And I kind of want to go there and meet a lot of the wrestlers and hang out, watch matches there for like a week. But I don't know anybody in Jacksonville area. But I would like to go down there to watch. That'd be fun because, quite frankly, I feel like I might be done with baseball, man. I mean, like I've said this before, but like I don't know, man. Like I just feel like sports. The NBA has not learned their lesson. The NFL has not learned their lesson with the social justice BS. I'm over it, man. I am over it. I don't watch those sports anyways, so I've been pretty much. I watch channels who talk about other sports, and they just don't get the memo. They're not getting the memo. I mean, I guess they were literally going to have to be like 5 people watching on TV before they finally stop doing the stuff. Like their viewership is literally cratering. I mean, here's something to put in your pipe and not smoke it. So last year, 2019 NBA, which is like the most woke of all pro sports, they had about 9 million people watch on Christmas. Okay, 9 million. 2019, before things got crazy like this past year. And then they went fully woke, like out of their minds woke, and they continue to do it. This Christmas, we just passed a couple days ago, like 3 million. That's it. 3 million. The WWE SmackDown had more people watching than the actual NBA basketball game. I mean, and they just don't get it. I mean, they get it. They just don't care, apparently, because all it is about the money. And I mean, if baseball ends up going that route, I thought people would get the memo. I thought, it's probably been written down somewhere. They got the memos coming across their desk. They're not getting it. I don't get how they don't get it. That they purposely, offend and push off over half of their supporters, their customers, their whatever you want to call it, and they're just going to keep on digging that hole. It's like they got a shovel and they just like keep on digging. They just like, you know what, we're digging. We're going to keep digging till we get all the way to China. We're going to dig all the way down. So I have an old timey feeling that by the time March rolls around in baseball, I don't see things getting any better, quite frankly. And if they're going to do the same stuff they've been doing this past year, I really am not going to watch anymore. I'm not going to. I didn't watch any this year. I watched like a hot minute here and there of the World Series with Luka, and that was it. Like Luka he didn't even care. He didn't care for reasons that had nothing to do with social justice stuff like I do. He just didn't care because it wasn't interesting to him. But I was like, all right, well, if you don't want to watch, I ain't watching. Moving on. I'll watch whatever else. So yeah, I just can't wrap my mind around like how you can completely alienate over half of your viewership, your fans, your supporters. It's mind-boggling. It really is. I've never seen anything like it in my entire life. They would rather go broke, literally, than just stop doing it. Just stop doing it. They just rather go right into the ground. But I give them credit for that. I mean, they're going to get on that old hobby horse and ride into the sunset, apparently. So, yeah, Don, it'll be cool, man. If you're in Pittsburgh proper, Bob Lewis lives in one of the neighborhoods there. I don't want to say where he lives because he might want to keep that a private, but he lives in one of the neighborhoods in Pittsburgh proper. And so, yeah, man, we definitely can hang out. That'd be awesome. Man. We got to go to Fiore's. We got to go to Fiore's and get ourselves a cheese pizza. And I want to go to Squirrel Hill again. Corona started, and a lot of things were starting to get closed. A lot of people were freaking out. Like I was there the weekend that America lost its mind with Luka. So the first first few days of the trip, everything was fine. By the weekend, everything was shutting down. Like we ended up like everything was shutting down. So I'm hoping. Because I got to go a lot of different places in Pittsburgh 2 years ago. Last year I got to go to a lot of places I missed. But then, like I said, a few of the places I went in Pittsburgh last year were starting to shut down, and I missed out on going to. So, but yeah, I definitely want to go to a few hot spots, a couple hot spots in Pittsburgh for sure. I really want to try to go to the museums. I definitely want to try to do some of that stuff. So for sure. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so then you know the area. Okay, that's cool. Like I said, that's awesome. If you know where Bob's at, then yeah, we definitely can get together. We can go to what's the famous sandwich shop in Pittsburgh? Shoot, something Brothers. Oh, Primanti Brothers. We can hit the Primanti Brothers, dude. We'll be legit, man. Get my big old French fry sandwich with my sauerkraut and whatever else they put on that thing, pastrami. It's good stuff, homie.
It reminds me of Byron.
Hey, thanks, Henry. I'm glad I can beat out Disney as something to watch, for sure. This video is probably going to be all over the place, guys, so I'm sure I'll do some offending. I'm sure I'll make some people laugh. Some people maybe even cry. So, yeah, this is going to be for all people. No matter what you identify as, you'll enjoy this channel, this video, maybe. So I got to talk about something that probably a lot of people won't care about, but it's something that really came as a surprise or a shock. Was John Huber passed away on 26, who is Mr. Brody Lee in AEW. He's only 41 years old. He was Luke Harper, I believe, on WWE. He'd only been on, AEW for like 6 months, maybe 8 months total. He probably only had a dozen matches, I would say, because they made a big deal about bringing him in and all that kind of stuff. And he finally was there, and then he didn't wrestle a whole lot, which is unfortunate because he was definitely a very imposing character on the show. But if you're a fan of wrestling, man, and it's been a tough year for fans of wrestling. Lots and lots of people have passed away that was wrestling. I mean, a lot of baseball guys have passed away, football, whatever. I mean, there's a lot of people passed away. Yeah, Primanti Brothers, you're right, Matt. And then his name, like I said, I mean, he passed away in Jacksonville, I believe, actually. He was in Florida. Even though he's originally from New York. Upstate New York, I believe, like the Buffalo area. I know Primanti Brothers, dude. I mean, I know there's a Primanti Brothers down the street from my house here. I just know that I like going to the Pittsburgh locations where it's originally from. It's cool. But yeah, I mean, I'm all about the local place. I've been to there's a breakfast place downtown Pittsburgh. I want to say like Mary's Breakfast or Mary Allen's or something that's like it's like right next to a church. And that breakfast place was legit. Edna's or something. I can't remember. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, but yeah. I may be a Disney princess. It's possible. But, the thing is with Brody Lee, man, I mean, like, it is so surprising. I mean, he ended up dying of a some kind of lung issue that wasn't COVID related. It was completely different. He was doing a workout, and then all of a sudden he had some experiences he couldn't catch his breath. He was having breathing issues while he was working out, I guess, somewhere there in Jacksonville, because that's where they do a lot of the taping right now. Pamela's, that's it, Pamela's. Thank you, Don. Yep, I knew you knew. I knew you would know. Pamela's was legit. Fiore's is legit. I went to a couple, like, Mexican places or Chinese places that were, like, more, like, local. They weren't, like, I don't think they were chains. I never heard of them myself. So there's a lot of cool places there. And, I mean, the guy had 2 kids. One was 8 and one was, like, a baby, like, under a year old. It was, man, it just kind of, like, tells you. I mean, when you hear about people like, Phil Necro passing away or Whitey Ford, I mean, it's always hard, but I mean, these people like in their 80s, 90s, late 70s. But when you hear somebody like 41 years old, man, that's unbelievable. That's really hard. I mean, I liked him as a wrestler. I didn't know a whole lot about it, but I enjoyed his work in the ring. But what really got me was like hearing about, like watching videos of him talking about his kids. He's a father of 2 sons, and that's what really got me like all like worked up, because I was just sitting there thinking like how hard must it be in that situation, and somebody who was in like tip-top shape. I mean, like great shape. Yeah, I'm older than I'll be 42 in 2 days. My birthday is December 31st for anybody who wants to send me a birthday gift. I'm taking money and gift cards. But it's unbelievable, and it's so hard when you hear about that kind of stuff. I mean, like I said, mostly it was like the people, people who knew him really well, the wrestlers talking about their time with him and stuff. And I appreciate it, Henry. Thank you. But it was really hard to hear, and it makes you really kind of reevaluate things. At least for me, I mean, we always talk about when people pass away. Of course, it's awful. But when they're older, it's it's expected. I mean, it doesn't make it any easier when it's family or close friends. Without a doubt, it doesn't make it any easier. But when the person's like barely in their 40s, I mean, it's just like mind-boggling. And as of right now, it seemed like it was like out of the blue. I know they're trying to like keep it somewhat, private, and I understand that. But I mean, like, if you're on the outside looking in and you just hear somebody say he had some lung issue, that it wasn't COVID, and that's what killed him, and you're like, what? How's that possible? What is that? I mean, was it lung cancer? Was he a smoker? Even then, I mean, that would be. At 40, I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's like the kind of smokestack smoke. So I don't know. It's really. Yeah, I mean, it happens. I mean, yeah, for sure. No one's guaranteed tomorrow. I mean, I get it. But anyway, that has been really tough. I mean, tomorrow, AEW on TNT will be really rough to watch tomorrow. It's going to be a tough thing. I've never experienced anything like that. So. Where they're going to have a whole show dedicated to a wrestler who has passed. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. For sure. So anyways, man, I don't want to be all about that. I just wanted to say, just kind of bring it up to people who may or may not, maybe are interested in those kind of things. It was very, really surprising to say the least. To kind of change gears a bit and move it in another direction, the Padres apparently are all in for 2021. I don't know if you all been paying much attention, but it looks like they're getting a Korean ball player who is apparently one of the better Korean players. I think they got an offer on him to bring him in. Yu Darvish, I believe, is now heading towards San Diego. I want to say there was another 1 or 2 big moves they made recently as well. So they're kind of all in on this 2021. They're making a big push, which honestly, once they got Manny Machado, I was like, dude, that was a bad mistake. And it still is a bad mistake. They paid him way too much money, that's for sure. But I'm like, you got so much money tied up in Machado, how are you going to be able to afford anybody else? Apparently, they have a money tree that they're shaking in their backyard somewhere. They got a lot of money coming because, it's kind of surprising. I sure hope not. He can keep his stupidity in Los Angeles. I don't want to. I mean, whenever I see that little bum or La China James, I don't want to. I don't like it. I don't like this guy at all. Man, I wish. Bless you. I wish one of those. What's the MMA fighters? I wish they would take. I wish LeBron James would take him up on their offer and get into an octagon with one of those guys and let them knock his teeth out. It would be epic. It would be so epic. But you can talk tough when you're way far away from any real guys that will really knock you out. But he would never be the king of strikeouts. But anywho, I don't want to get on LeBron James because I won't be able to get off because I can't stand the guy. But anyways, yeah, man. I mean, San Diego's all in, dude. It's crazy. I mean, I didn't even realize the Chicago Cubs were looking to get Dill Darvish. That was a shock. I kind of feel bad for Darvish because every time he starts getting some traction, he starts having some really quality seasons, he gets shipped off. So he's doing well in Texas. He goes to Dodgers. He does pretty good with the Dodgers, and then he gets shelled because, of course, we find out later that the Astros were cheating, and so they knew what was coming. So, Darvish gets, this completely, shammered on his starts, and we know why. We know why now is because the Astros are cheaters. And then he goes to Chicago, and he was injured. So the first year, he pretty much was pathetic. And then last year, or the year before that, he had a bad part of the first season. The second part, he was doing pretty good. And then this year, he did all right from my understanding. I talked to Sean Sealing second. He's a Cubs fan. And then now I was like, okay, well, he's going to be one of the better spots on the Cubs lineup. And now he's gone, apparently. I think this is all pending, health screenings or whatever. But assuming all that goes through, he's in San Diego. So they might say, they might as well. You never know, dude. I show my nephew Darvish fighting the day. I can't say I know about that one, Henry. But yeah, I mean, honestly, the thing is that I respect teams, even though I don't like the way people do. They go around try to buy the Yankees, try to buy championships. But if anything shows you, the New York Yankees is proof that you can throw all kinds of money at a possible championship. It does not mean you're even going to get to the World Series, let alone win the World Series. So, I mean, I'm a Yankees fan. I mean, I like the Yankees. Even though I'm wearing my Red Sox shirt, I am a Yankees fan. But we all know that doesn't necessarily mean anything. The Yankees have been doing that for the better part of their entire existence. And usually their homegrown talent is what gets them to win World Series. It's not, talent they bring in via the almighty dollar. Yeah, there are tons of trades out there, or tons of free agents, so that's correct. Man, they did not, Yankees fan, they did not, your loved ones did not hook you up with Samurai Cop on Blu-ray. That is a straight travesty, dude. You apparently weren't that good for Christmas or for the year. That's probably why you didn't get it. So Santa Claus was like, no, not for you. So, but yeah. So anyway, so that was a little bit of that. I think if anybody, you might want to tell your kids now, if you don't have a very successful pro career and you're not helping your team be successful, do not go to a strip club after you take a big L. And then during COVID restrictions, and go to a strip club and then show up and act like you still got to keep your job, because you currently find out if you're on the Washington Redskins team or whatever, it doesn't work out for you. You get let go. If you're a bum quarterback anyways, and then you think you're going to celebrate, which is no reason to celebrate because you just lost and you continue to lose, to celebrate at a strip club, then you get let go. There you go. That's a country song waiting to be written. So you're welcome, Blake Shelton or whoever country singer may be. That's a country song waiting to be written right there. So I got let go from Washington Time. Should have probably not went to the strip club and making it rain with them dollar bills, y'all. There goes my job along with those singles. So that was free. That first one's always free. But yeah, it's unbelievable, dude. But yeah, so anyway, so you have that going on.
Why are you used to this?
Man, just like it's mind-boggling. Some of the people nationwide's on my side. Thank you, I appreciate that. Sound like a rap song. Well, I'm sure it will be. I'm sure someone will take it and turn it into a rap song. I'm sure. I will not be surprised if it turned into a rap song. But you don't want to hear me sing anyways. But you definitely don't want to hear me singing any rap. Trust me. But I'm sure it doesn't come as a surprise to anybody that's the case. I know he can. He can work security now. That's true. He can be there all the time. I mean, because I don't think they ever close. So you could go there 8 to 8. I mean, 8 a.m. to 8 a.m. the next day. I mean, you can just pull out a cot. Pull out your cot, and then you're right there, dude. 50 cent, more like filthy cent. Yeah, man. I mean, I wonder if you can go with like Buffalo Head nickels or like roll of pennies, if that works. I'm throwing at me some roll of pennies. I'm going to throw some roll of pennies at you girls. What up, roll of pennies? Making it rain, roll of pennies. So, you got to make sure you're close. Be careful. Bring one of them change machines that like moves all the money around. It tells you how much you got. And you go cash out at the register or whatever. So there's that. So that was happening. So you got strip clubs and football players. We talked about Brody Lee. We talked about San Diego Padres going all in. Talked about the post office. Finally, after 3 weeks, literally 3 weeks, that's not an exaggeration, starting to move mail to the proper locations, which is nice. So I hope everybody got what they want for Christmas. I hope everybody was a good boy this year. And they got what they want for Christmas from Santa Claus. Oh, thank you. Yes, dude. Won't you be my neighbor? Won't you be? Won't you be? Please, won't you be my neighbor? That's right, baby. What up, Mike? Yeah, man. I mean, like I'm telling you, Henry, I had a bunch of them at the very beginning of December that I sent out for people who bought stuff from me on eBay, and just now, literally 29 days later, and maybe even say 30 days later in some cases. So it must have been the end of November that they're just now starting to get, like, starting to say like Cincinnati distribution or St. Louis distribution centers and all that stuff. So, but yeah, man, I watched the documentary about, it said, "Won't You Be My Neighbor" documentary about Mr. Rogers. It was legitly awesome. It's like an hour and a half. It's right now on Amazon Prime, and you can watch it for free. But you might want, if you're a child of the 80s, late 70s through the mid 90s, which is like my wheelhouse, you may need a couple hankies with you. You might need a couple boxes or packages of Kleenex because, man, it's got some touching moments. I'm not even kidding you. It don't take much for me to get all emotional nowadays anyways. I'm like a big old, like, teddy bear. I'm like... You know, when I was finding out Brody Lee passed, and I was all the people like doing all their stuff they're talking about, like they're like stories and pictures and videos they're showing on Brody Lee and all that stuff. I was all like, oh, it's so lovely. So yeah, it doesn't take much. Mr. McFeely does DTTM, you're right, and so does Lady something. I think her really like Aberdeen or Aberline. I got her through the mail years ago, but she signs, or at least she was. Lady something. I can't remember her name, but yes. Mr. McFeely, this is true. The show was taped. Yeah, you're right. It was taped close to Squirrel Hill. Yeah. Everybody who was ever involved in like any George A. Romero movie started out on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, which is hilarious. And they all tell you about it, too. They all tell you, if you were involved in film, the film industry in Pittsburgh, you got your start in Mr. Rogers in the 50s and 60s. Yeah, Betty Aberline, right. Yep. You got your start with that in the 60s with Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. So that's cool. You met Mr. McFeely at a minor league game. That's cool, man. I loved Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood when I was a kid. I mean, literally, I would love watching it. I mean, and I remember, here's the thing. I don't know if anybody's ever done this before. I'm gonna like a little peek behind the curtain. A little peek behind the curtain. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. When I got into middle school, I might even say even high school, whenever I stayed home from school because I wasn't feeling well, when I was in middle school, and maybe like I said, even high school, sometimes I would go home and I just was like, to feel like, to kind of make me feel good or like to have nostalgia or to make me get my mind off of me not feeling well, I would turn on PBS still. I'm like 14, 15, 16 years old. And if Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood was on, man, I would watch that, even though it was like an episode from like 1984. And I'm watching it like the 90s, mid-90s or whatever, like 10 years later. I'd watch that. Like I'd watch like I'm seeing it for the first time, and I'd love every minute of it. It'd be Mr. Rogers, and he'd be like swimming in a pool or me spending time with like Coco the gorilla. Or whatever he was doing. Like I remember watching that and like loving it. And I'm like, if any of my friends would have known I was watching Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood as like a 15-year-old, I probably would have been like publicly tarred and feathered. But I used to watch that and I remember loving every minute of it. Like so much nostalgia, man. I just loved it. I'm not even lying. It popped on right now, but I was like watching TV. An old episode pop up. I probably would stop whatever I was doing. I'd be like this. And just be watching it. Like legit, dude. Handyman Nagiri. I archived all those stuff about you. That's cool. I did not know that. I might have to pop it in or check it out here down the road. That'd be cool. Yeah, the piano. And he always... different sweaters. Sometimes he would do like, I think he would do different sweaters. He would do like maybe a little different dance or little moves and stuff. I mean, they always try to do something different because I didn't realize they did it daily. I don't know if it was live, but they did daily tapings or something. So it was like always something different. So for sure. No, I don't think so. Now they have something called, because my son used to watch PBS pretty regularly, and I think they have a thing called Daniel Tiger or something on there. And I was because Daniel Tiger was on the original Mr. Rogers, and they took that they took the puppet Daniel Tiger into a cartoon, which obviously I don't like. Which is it is what it is. Like I don't like cartoons. I've never been a big fan of cartoons as an adult. Of course, when I was a kid, I loved cartoons, but as an adult, I don't like it. So it could be great. I just never watched it because I don't like watching cartoons. I don't care what it is. It could be PBS. It could be something from Disney. It could be whatever. Well, Storks is okay, yeah, but that was like something I never searched out. It was brought to my attention at Bob's, and then I liked it. Yeah, it was fine, but you're not going to sit me watching cartoons. Yeah, you're probably right, Don. They probably were secretly watching it. You're right. Hey, what up? Thanks, Eggy. I appreciate it, dude. Yeah, dude, New Year's is coming up. Everybody happy New Year for sure. Yeah, Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood. Yes, on oh shoot, what was it called? Saturday Night Live, SNL. Yes, yeah, that was good stuff. Apparently, they said on that in this documentary that uh, Fred Rogers, he never enjoyed being like people making fun of the show. If it was like making fun of like the kids, if you thought you were making fun of the kids, or like pushing them off like they don't matter, like their feelings don't matter, or what they're going through doesn't matter, like it really bothered him. He didn't care about it himself if people would lampoon him. But if they were like trivializing what the kids were going through and their struggles, like it really bothered him. Like he took it really personal. And I was like, that's interesting. And the one thing I don't like is that, like in the world we live in now, they try to take everything that's decent and try to make it something that is subversive and weird and inappropriate. They were talking about, modern people looking through modern lenses, like Mr. Rogers, like, essentially like this older man who likes to have play around with little kids, and they try to make it this weird thing, or trying to make it out to be that he had to be possibly gay and all this stuff. And I'm like, why they're like, they're like literal people trying to make it out to be something that's not. And and it goes up to the whole Bert and Ernie thing when you're growing up, like, Bert and Ernie, and I'm like the kids are just watching this. No one's watching this through a 28 or 48 or 92-year-old lenses. They're like a bunch of like 5-year-olds and 4-year-olds, and everybody's trying to make it into this subversive, weird, sick thing. And I'm like, no one's thinking that. No child is thinking that. They're trying to like glimpse any sort of just decency out of this stuff. And it's just kind of sad that nowadays everybody has to go back and look at all these things and try to make it into some kind of weird fetish thing that's like people want to live through now. And I'm like, it has nothing to do with that. And if there was anything there, it wasn't apparent on screen. Maybe behind closed doors they were like trying to do something, but it wasn't like in your face. And I mean, it's just everything. I just hate that everybody tries to do that kind of stuff now. I mean, it's just like leave it alone. So, yeah, I agree. When I have my computer charged, I can't reach out and like do. Hey, let me take that off here. Hold on. Oh, shucky darn. There you go. Sorry, man. So yeah, man, I agree with you, Henry. See you later, Mike. Why? Yeah, man. I mean, that's like I said, everything has to be about that now. Everything has to be about everything has to be some kind of conspiracy or some kind of like dirty secret. It just, I always think, why we go back to that? Why are we going back to people's something from the past and try to make it some kind of weird thing? I don't get it. It serves no purpose. And almost 99% of the time, it's barking up a tree for no reason, and there's nothing happening. There's literally nothing happening. But it is what it is. I should not be surprised. But so, does anybody have any plans for New Year's? Anybody have any plans for New Year's? Any hot plans? I know that a lot of people are dealing with hashtag Rona and all that kind of stuff. James Lee, who's James Lee? Oh, he's my coworker. Sent me a friend request. Okay. Yeah, you got to move out of Oregon, dude. There's like no way I could live in a state like that. I would like literally get arrested every day or get into some sort of altercation. I grab my twisted tea and use it as a weapon because people will be losing their minds. Yeah, I'm very grateful that as of right now, Indiana is still letting people be adults and let people adult the way they want to adult, which I know is a radical concept nowadays. to let adults, but I appreciate the fact that we do. Nice, Falsey. I like it. I like it. It's great. That's a great way to usher in the new year and to celebrate it moving forward for 2021. 2021. It's crazy. It's crazy, yo. Oh, geez, man. I'm sorry to hear that, Henry. I know the nursing homes are the hotbeds of that stuff. I hopefully, fingers crossed, she'll beat it and get through it. So 85 in COVID though, that's scary. But I'm hoping she'll be okay. There was a nursing home that's just down the street from my house. Actually, there's two of them, but there's one. Excuse me. There's one literally just right down the street from me, and I'm always wondering how they're doing. So I'm hoping. I haven't heard anything crazy about any overt, worrisome details that their clients are getting sick or whatnot. But I know that the town over in Anderson, where Carl Erskine is from, they end up having like dozens and dozens, like 20, 30 people passed away at one of their nursing homes back when this all first started, like in April or May. So I remember that. I was like, and then of course, like the county we live in, they're like, everyone's dying. It's like, no, not everyone. People in nursing homes are passing, and that's awful. But that's what happened. It's not everybody is. It's centralized. So like half of the people passing in the county I live in here in Indiana is all from old folks' homes, all from nursing homes. And then the ones that aren't are from older people who get it. I got to tell you, it's kind of weird. I don't know for the ones who are out and about living their lives, but you've been told the reason why you socially distant and wear a mask and to mask up, as they like to say, is so you don't kill grandma. However, the people who are not masking up and don't care are all old people. Every time I go in public, I don't care if I go to a Kroger, I go to a Dollar Tree, I go to a Meijer, I go to a doctor's office. They ain't wearing a mask, or they're wearing it down below their chin, or if they're having their nose hanging out. And these are the people who are supposedly we're trying to save. And I'm like, if they don't even care, then why am I caring? And I don't mean that Karen like Karen Karen. I mean caring, Caring. But I find it somewhat amusing and hilarious that if you actually look around, it's not the young people who are doing it. It's not even the middle-aged people. It's the old people who are like, I don't care. Like, I've been around since the 50s. I'm fine. I've been here since the 40s. I ain't scared of this. I survived WW2. I survived Vietnam. I survived Obama. And I'm still here. It's kind of mind-boggling, like how many people do not care that are elderly or in that demographic. They really don't care. Like today, I went with my son to where did we go? We went to the doctor's office. We went to the doctor's office. It was so. We went to Kroger. Thank you. We went to Kroger, and like they're like all these old people. No one, they're like not wearing it. They never, like I said, they got it down past their chin. They don't care. They're like have their nose hanging out, and I'm like, what's happening right now? I'm like, hey, if you don't care, why do I care? It is what it is, man. I do find it. I challenge you, the people that are watching. I challenge you when you go out in public. If you go out in public, if you have the time to peruse and look around, if you have time to people watch, I feel like I can almost guarantee you, because I've been all over the state of Indiana. I've been in North Carolina when all this has been going on. I've been in Kentucky, and 2/3 of the old folk don't care. They're like, I don't care. I don't want to hear about it.
His grandpa make that emotion?
I don't know. I was at a Culver's yesterday with Luke and his mom. Like all these old people in there. It was like almost like exclusively old people.
Yeah. There was like this old guy sitting on his desk, had like a bunch of folders and a computer out.
Yeah.
He just had the mask on, like walking around and drink.
Yeah. I mean, like they have their mask on, but it's around their neck.
He was like 86 years old.
Yeah, and there was like that old couple that were by the door,
Oh, yeah.
and they're like had their mask on. They're right by the door. People coming in and out, and they don't have their mask on. They're like literally needing help to get out the door. Like they're that old and frail that they needed help to get out the door, and they're like, "I'm not wearing this mask. I ain't doing it." So I'm just like, okay, all right, you go get them, Grandma and Grandpa Geppetto. You ain't taking that. Faulty, yeah. Maybe they are. Maybe they're ready to go. They're like, you know what? I'm good to go. I do think at different phases of your life, you come to terms with different things. I'm sure if I was in my 80s, I don't want to go, but I had a good run. I'm 85. I'm not gonna go around licking hospital doorknobs or anything, or go to a sick ward and like go and like roll around on the bed or nothing. But 85. All right. So, I mean, I just think, but I feel like people will become more and more that way as they get older. They're just like, gonna happen. I don't really want it to happen. I'd like to have another good 10, 15, 20 years, as we all do. But I do think it's pretty interesting that, like you said, they're just like, I'm ready to go. It's my time. It's my time. But what my job is to give another little peek behind the curtain. I do deal with the elderly a lot in my job, and a lot of it deals also with if someone passes, like a husband or a wife, I'll talk to them a lot on the phone. Or that they're older and they'll tell me about their friends who live down the street or in the next house over, or their brothers or sisters who also are older. And I think that generation's a lot more stubborn. Not everybody, but I think we can be fair. If your grandparents, probably a lot more stubborn than maybe you are. And some of them will say, so and so passed away from COVID. And they're like, oh, they were pretty healthy. They're pretty healthy, but they passed away. And I'm like, wow, I'm sorry to hear that. And I'm like, well, what happened? And they tell me, they go, well, they got real sick. They just didn't want to go to the doctor. They're just like, yeah, I'm gonna be all right. I'll just shake this thing off. Even though they were miserable, they couldn't breathe. They're having issues. It was definitely like the flu, but they didn't want to go until they were like literally like 1 foot in the grave. They're on death's door, and then they go, and at that point, it's too late. And I mean, I don't know how many times I hear that on a date, and I don't want to say day-to-day basis, but a quasi-regular basis, is I hear that they're like, well, they were just like, oh, I'm not going to go. I'll be all right. Oh, I don't want to go to the hospital. I'm not that sick. I mean, I can't hardly breathe, but I'm not going to go. I'm like, oh, my gosh. Like, if I have a runny nose and a cough, I'm calling my doctor, like, even before all this stuff. But it's just like that generation, they're like, I'll just shake this thing off. I'm like, man, there is no way. If I was that old, there's no way I'm going to shake it off. I'm like shaking like a Polaroid picture. I'm not doing any kind of shaking. Shaking myself out to the car and shaking myself to the doctor's office. So, but I'm like, if this is going on, and then you're still not going to go and get yourself checked out, you're waiting days, if not weeks. What in the world? I mean, like that's why it goes back to what I'm saying. Old people just don't care. It goes back to what Falsey's saying. Old people must be ready to go. They're like, you know what? I'm good. Get me on the jet plane. I'm out of here. I don't know. So yeah, it's pretty wild. Pretty wild. So a PSA for everybody. Take a look at the people around you. If they're older, take a note. Excuse me. Take a mental note. See what's going on. TTM fuel. It's about $10. Man, I can send you, Henry, or anybody else, tons of cards. Tons of TTM fuel. I got so much stuff sitting in these monster boxes. Man, I'll be more than happy to send you a care package of just rando players. For sure. Let me think about something else. Another topic of interest. I got my first return on talking about TTM. I got my first return, the dreaded yellow sticker. I sent to Bucky Dent, Bucky Evan Dent, if you're a Red Sox fan from back then. But I sent Bucky Dent a autograph request, and it came back and it says, return to sender, not deliverable as addressed, unable to forward. So that's kind of a weird return. It wasn't denied. It wasn't the wrong address. It says undeliverable as addressed. So it means like the address was wrong. I double checked. It's the address that's on Star Tiger. But other people are receiving this now too. So I'm thinking, he's refusing the mail, or he's telling the post office something, or he's moved, I guess, and that they're not forwarding the mail, which it is what it is. But I thought that was very interesting. So this is my first one that's happened, and I don't know. I think it might be one of the first ones ever I've ever had this. Usually I just never receive it back, or I get it back as a success of some sort. So it's my very first one. So it's kind of weird. I haven't had that situation happen, I don't think, ever. Maybe once, a decade ago. And the weird thing is I already got Bucky Dent's autograph on a couple other things. He used to be the manager of the Columbus Clippers, a AAA team in the International League for the Yankees. And he came down at Victory Field in Louisville to play the Louisville Bats. I think they were back there, the River Bats back in the olden days. And he was out on the field, and I was like, "Hey, Mr. Dent, may I have your autograph?" Nobody was even everybody was worried about the hot new prospects, which I get. But I mean, Bucky Dent. I remember thinking back in the was it the 70s that he did the whole he put the screws to the Red Sox. I was like, man, I got to get Bucky Dent's autograph. He had some really big World Series or playoff history between Yankees and the Red Sox. And he was like, oh yeah. No one was asking for his autograph. I was like, man, this guy has at least an established career with the Yankees. Nothing to get too excited about, but he had more of a career than 2/3 of the people over there on that bench right now. And so he signed 2 or 3 cards for me. He was super nice. I had heard that he's kind of a head case in real life, but I guess when he was suited up for the team, he was all Mr. Smiles and stuff, Mr. Shaking Hands and Kissing Babies. So I had no problem with him. He was great. So I was hoping I'd get a few other cards I had in my my box to send out. I had maybe 2 or 3 cards. I think I said, hey, keep 1 or 2, keep 1 for yourself, like I usually do. Well, now I got them all back. So, excuse me. I'm gonna have to find a new address or just be done with it, which is fine. It's okay. Like I said, I already got his autograph. I just was gonna get 1 or 2 more on some of his 70s cards. I guess actually I could go ahead and open it up. Hopefully there's no. So let's take a look here. Here's the cards. You got my Post-it note in there. So I had a couple of cards from the 80s, 82. So I had 3 cards, and I said, "Hey, please keep 1 for yourself." So these were the ones I was trying to get signed. So I tried to get this one signed with him and White. Was it? I forgot the guy's first name. Ron White? Was it Frank White? So we got this one. He didn't sign, unfortunately. This All-Star card right here. And then this right here, Bucky Dent right there. So that sucks. That was my first rejection. So I got to throw that one away. I'll do that tomorrow, I guess, or whatever. But I will resend it out. Well, maybe I'll keep that there. Here's my letter. Here's my other envelope inside. So we'll have to Try to resend that out next time or see if there's a new address. But maybe it's not silent anymore. Who knows? So aside from Falsey gonna sit on his couch naked watching football for New Year's, anybody else doing anything maybe not so flippy floppy droopy? I was inquiring minds would like to know. Inquiring minds. So my son bought me a box of Topps Update. I'm going to do a video specifically about what I got in the box, but I will go ahead and show you that he pulled this card, which is cool. It's the card to get, I think one of the cards to get, of Yordan Alvarez, rookie card. Rookie Cup, rookie card. So he pulled that out of a pack. He had whatever, it comes like 7 packs and one free pack or something, or 8 packs and one whatever pack. So he pulls this card in his pack, which is a pretty big one to pull. And then in the same pack, he ended up pulling this card, which is the turkey red, the Topps turkey red of Yordan Alvarez, which is pretty cool. And then when he opened the what do you call it? Then he had like the button or whatever it is, the button or the card or the chip or whatever, the coin. There you go. Then I let him open up the coin card, and then he pulled this one right here, which is really cool. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., which again is probably he's really young, and I mean this might be a good one to hold on to. But he pulled this. Of all the cards he could pull out, he pulled this one out here. That's pretty awesome. The commemorative coin, Topps coin. So I was pretty happy with that. And I mean, I had a whole bunch of other stuff I want to show off too. But those are some fun stuff that he opened up or was able to pull. So that was cool. So 2 Yordan Alvarez, 1 rookie card, 1 insert rookie card, and then a Vladdy Jr. So that's pretty awesome. I'd buy that for $1, as the creepy mustache guy from the RoboCop would say, with the 2 fly honeys. Honestly, Henry, I honestly did not watch baseball at all this year. I would be remiss, or what's the word I'm looking for? I'd be a faker, a poser, to a pretender, if you will, not the band The Pretenders, to even guess at anyone right now. I mean, I've heard from other people, Yordan Alvarez, Bo Bichette had a pretty good year. People pretty excited about him. That's that. And I mean, Eloy Jimenez, I heard was, he was started out pretty good, but then he got hurt or got injured or something. So I mean, I'm sure I'm not telling anything that anybody don't really know who's been paying attention and watching. I can't watch a sport where they're doing all kinds of ridiculous social justice posturing. I can't do it. I won't do it. I'm not paying for it. I'm not going to use my viewership to help encourage the ratings. I mean, with baseball, it's already in such dire straits. You would think they would do anything to not turn people off from watching baseball. They would do the exact opposite, because the people who are supposedly offended and upset are not watching sports. That is not your base. No one's watching baseball. It's like going, you know what they need right now? A lot of social justice warrior right now. We need a lot more people out there doing SJW stuff. That is not what's happening with baseball. And I would dare say with football and basketball too. Maybe basketball is a little bit less like that, but I mean, there's only so long you can be a sports fan of your team or your sport being called you're some racist bigot. Like how much can you handle of that? Nah, I can handle 0 of it because I know it's not true, and I'm not going to have them keep telling me it's true. I can't do it. It's like anytime, even when I'm watching like college sports now, if there's a commercial pops on that says something like that, I'm like, I'm done. I'm done. I'll turn it off immediately. And that might not even be that might even be like the teams doing it or the school. If they think the ABC or Fox or NBC or whatever thinks that's what I want to hear when I'm trying to sit down with my piece of pizza and a Coke, when I want to watch some Notre Dame football, whatever, they think that's what I want to see. Coming across the screen is me being told I'm some kind of POS. I'm like, you know what? Guess what? Shocker! I don't want to hear it. I don't want that to be mixed in with my viewing of sports. I know that comes as a surprise to everybody who's listening and watching right now, but I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it. I don't have nothing to do with it. It does nothing except be counterproductive. So it is what it is. So to answer your question, Mr. Henry S. Oh, by the way, I saw you got in front of the camera on your last video, I believe. That was a nice surprise, sir. You're coming from out behind the shadows. So that was nice. So, but yeah. There's that. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm holding out hope. I'm trying to be positive. Oh, here's something else. Put this in your tobacco pipe and smoke it. So think about this. And now let me know what you all would do in this situation. Be honest. Because honesty is the best policy. If you were supporting a local business, a small business, and you were, regardless if you spent $5 there a month or $500 there a month, you were spending your money there, and they told you, hey, why don't you come in and hang out? I got nothing going on, because you're friends with the people who run this shop. You know them personally. And you show up because you're being told, hey, I've got nothing going on. Why don't you want to come in here and hang out? You spend your time, your money, your gas, whatever, to go to said shop, and then they're not open. After they told you they're going to be there and they're looking to have something to do, and you coming in, hanging out while they're doing their work, and maybe you get something in the process, everybody wins. If you show up and they are not there, the store is closed, and you text them and they don't respond to the text, and then you sit around for like 30 minutes or longer and they never open up or show up, do you A, continue to support them, or B, no longer support them for jerking you around and wasting your time and money and gas? Like, I'm asking this like a legit question. Like, this happened to me recently, and I'm taking, as I'm sure no one's surprised by me telling them this. Tracy's, yeah.
What'd you do?
I drove off. Yeah, I'm not going back. No, I'm not going back. No, that's like the rudest thing you can do to somebody is tell them, hey, I'll be there. I'm there, hang out. I'm gonna be there for like 4 or 5 hours. You show up and then they're not there. And then when you text them, they don't respond for like 3 hours later. You're already back home.
What did he end up saying to you?
What can you say? He was trying to like play it off like, oh, not even apologize really. So, hey, what up, guys? So, I mean, I don't know what the clarification is. If you tell somebody, hey, I'm here, and they're like, why don't you come in and hang out? And you say, okay, I'm on my way. And you have a text back and forth, and you know the person saw it because they're telling you they're there and they want you to come, and you say you're on your way. And then you send 2 or 3 other texts later, 30 minutes later, 10 minutes, 15 minutes after you leave and you get there, and then 30 minutes of waiting. So that's 45 minutes, and they still don't respond. And then you're like, either you're going to sit there all day and you don't get a response, so you know what's going on. What do you do? My answer is you no longer spend your time and money there. You're no longer a patron at this location. And it might suck because you want to be, but also it's like, hey, my time's precious, my money's precious, my gas is precious. And if you're going to treat me like some jagoff, then I don't think I'm going to give you my money. It may not be a whole lot of money, but it adds up. Word of mouth definitely doesn't help. So I'm kind of like, right. There's no excuse. That was the other thing. There was a like it never happened. It was like, I'm on my way or whatever. Like just wait. Like literally, the response was, just wait. Hours later, I kid you not, I'm on my way. I'm not waiting more than 30 minutes. I mean, I'm already inconvenienced as it is. I am not waiting any longer. Like, how much of a schmuck do you think I am? I mean, the chances are a pretty high level of schmuckiness. Schmuck-tuckatin or whatever. But I'm not that much of a schmuck. So, yeah, I agree with you, Alex, that if you're a small business, local business, and regardless if it's a big spender, like I'll just tell you, it's 4 Sharp Corners in Greenfield. Man, I mean, how much publicity I get, free publicity I give this guy? Tons. I'm talking about probably thousands of dollars over the last couple of years because he's told me. This is not me just speculating. It's not me just assuming. It's not me trying to toot my own horn. It's literally, he tells me. And then I have people like you all in the community who's like, hey, I'm going to reach out to Tracy because he has some stuff I want. And I'm like, yeah, man, do it, dude. And I mean, like, so I have plenty of, he's told me there's tons of money he made off of me, which is great. That's what I wanted. That's exactly the reason why I did. Not to pat myself on the back, but to help out a small business, a local business. But if you're going to do that to the person, I don't even care. It's the holidays. I get it. It's the holidays. But there's no excuse. Not when you have an interaction with it's not like I sent him a text and was like, hey, I'm coming in the next 30 minutes, be there. Like, well, of course, that would be how I feel and what I'm doing would be, of course, illogical and irrational and unacceptable. That is not what happened. So, yeah, I'm very disappointed, very upset, of course, that you would expect. And I'm kind of like, you know what? I'm done with it, man. I'm not, obviously people still, people I know still reach out to him. That's fine. You got to do what you got to do. But, I used to put his business cards in every single one of my care packages. Everybody had bought from me. I put his eBay store on there. I'm always talking about him, But all that stuff's stopping. All that stuff's done. It's over. Stick a fork in me. I'm done. I'm not giving you any more free publicity. I'm not going to give you any more shout outs. I'm not going to give you any more accolades.
So you're not going to be hanging out with Tracy anymore?
I will not be hanging out with Tracy anymore. No, I'm not going to the store anymore. I'm not spending any more of my own money there. I'm not going to send anybody there that I know. Because, it turned into a thing where I'd go there just to hang out because, he's a fun guy. He's hilarious. I enjoy him. I enjoy his humor and his irrelevance to life. I appreciate that, but I'm not going to go with somebody going to kick me in the balls. That's just kind of goofy. That's kind of like being told you're a terrible, racist, horrible hate monger by these sports teams, and you still keep going back and looking for more. Like, who does that? I want to know who those people are because I like to let them know that they're dumb. And so it's the same principle. Like, why would you go and continue to give somebody your business if that's how little they think of you? So I'm like, you know what? I'm done. So, yeah, it's crazy, dude. It's crazy. That's actually 2 small businesses in this area that I have stopped going to based off of ridiculous actions of their owners in the last month. One has nothing to do with sports cars. Another one's totally different. It's literally right around the corner from my house. But I'm like, it's mind-boggling. You would think you would do anything you could to keep your customers happy within reason. It's like shocking, absolutely shocking. So yeah. So there will no longer be a mention of that moving forward. That's for sure. No more, at least no more accolades thrown. No lofty, super elegant words with lots of flowery emotions around it anymore. That ship has sailed like the Titanic, right into an iceberg. Iceberg right ahead. What up, Gary? Thanks for popping in. Yeah, man, basically the Cliff Notes version, Gary. I mean, you can watch the video later if you really want to get a lot more. But the Cliff Notes version is the shop I go to, the local card shop I go to, and have been for like 3 or 4 years. I will no longer be supporting. So, because he told me, hey, I'm here. I got nothing else going on. I'll be here till 7:30. You want to hang out? I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right, I'm heading your way right now. After like a couple of texts back and forth just to confirm. I'm like, are you sure you're open? I mean, you told me it was on Christmas Day, by the way. This is Christmas Day. This is not like, and I'm like, are you sure? You said you weren't going to be open on Christmas. No, I'm going to be open. I'm just going to hang. I'm not going to be open to the public, but I'm going to be here. I'm like, oh, okay. Are you sure? Yeah. Okay, I'm on my way. And guess what? He decided not to go get open, even though he told me he was open. He'd be there till 7:30, and this was like 2. This was not like it was 6:45. It was 2. So yeah, it was redunculous. So with that being said, I'll be no longer spending my maybe $50 a month there. But the big thing is sending him all that traffic. I mean, it's, the thing is, some of you don't realize how much you can hurt or help yourself or other people, the ones who don't interact with you, because he would tell me there'd be so many people who I didn't even know who they were told because I would bring up his store so much that they lived in Indiana that they found out about his store through me by watching my videos. And they would come there. They're like, oh, we heard about you from this guy on YouTube named Zombie Collector. And he's like, Jason? They're like, yeah, that's his name. They're like, yeah. I didn't know you all existed. Here I am. So, I mean, that won't be happening anymore. So, I mean, obviously, I don't want people not to shop there. You can do whatever you want. You're a GAW. I'm sorry, a GAM. You're not a GAW. You're not a GAW. You're a GAM. You're a GAM. So yeah, that ship's set, unfortunately, but it is what it is. All good things must come to an end. So it is. Guess what, guys? It is 10:30 in the PM. And I'm going to call it a night. I think I'm going to call it a night. It's been fun. About an hour 15. But I always appreciate you all hanging out with me. And until next time, I'm going to bid you all an adieu. And I do.